Hey everybody, it's Jason Blaha here. Now that my two obligatory informative videos are done for the day, it's time to talk about current events in the online fitness community. And I just saw AlphaDestiny, aka Strap-on Destiny's newest video discussing bear mode. And you know what, I think I'll talk about it. So let me put on my +5 out of weaponsmithing, work on skill at my crafting a little bit, and let's talk about this. All right, so we got the Dwarf Lord here. I think we should call it dwarf mode, right? You can call it dwarf mode. I don't think bear mode works, unless you maybe cub mode. He's kind of a cub. And before we jump into some of that, I do want to remind people that he issued a challenge to me a couple years back and said that he wouldn't accept my challenge unless I accepted his. And as I had to admit to my lies, which didn't I do, guys? Didn't I already admit I was not, in fact, a professional hitman or an assassin or a mercenary? And I apologize to anybody I offended a long time ago. Yet here he is, not accepting the challenge I threw down, even still to this day, right? Even though he said he would. So that already makes him a liar. I want his fanboys to understand that. He said he agreed to a challenge. If you guys recall, he's lying. He lied. He promised that he would accept my challenge if I accepted his because he thought I wouldn't do it. Well, I did. So his little fangirls, you better go realize that your Dwarf Lord is a proven liar right there. You better go pressure him to go ahead and come on and do it. Right? Let's see that deadlift. Let's see that squat. Where are they at? But, you know, the funny thing is, like, you always get these little manlets. They're always so obsessed with looking big in clothes. It's like, all right, I got to find a way to look big. Why don't you just get big, guys, and just accept your height? But it's just always this weird thing they have. I have to try to look bigger, right? Well, why don't you just get big? I mean, that's the thing that gets ridiculous. You look at him there, and he's talking about needing to get your neck really big. But in the very video, his neck's not really that big. And you notice he always puts all this focus on traps because these gym cells, they actually believe that if they get their traps really big, you know, they're going to look big and close. So he always does it right here up on his videos, right, with just enough downward angle so his traps look bigger, but he doesn't look big in the clothes when you zoom further out, right? He doesn't look big in his clothes. He doesn't look big walking around. He doesn't look big at all. His traps, he only shows that they look big in the picture because he has really narrow shoulders. And he trains his traps and he has them kind of puffed up a little bit the whole time he's talking. But he's only doing the neck up shots. If you were to zoom back out, see, all you guys are looking at that, these gym cells, these kids who are taken in by his little tricks and illusions, they think that, you know, he's really bigger. They think he's stronger than he is, right? He pulls these little games and they see that, aha, the traps are the key, but he doesn't look big walking around in a shirt, all right? He doesn't have a chest. All right, guys, you want to look big in a shirt? Let's talk about this silly bear mode shit. He is right about the slightly higher body fat, meaning 15 to 20% body fat, because I am provably in that range myself right now. We have DEXA scans. In fact, last time I put up a shirtless photo, people accused me of Photoshop, which I didn't. I don't even know how to use Photoshop. I'm completely incompetent at Photoshop. But look, guys, your chest, your triceps. If you want to look big in a shirt, pecs, triceps, lats, quads, because you want your legs to look big too. How do you get all that? Bench pressing, dips, deadlifts, squats, right? Those conventional exercises put a lot of meat on you. So that's kind of the silliness. The point that we get to is this whole idea that you need to train these other silly muscle groups like your neck. Spend all your time on your neck and traps to look big in a shirt. Why don't you just get your lats and your pecs as big as possible? Then you're going to look big in a shirt. All right, and when you turn to the side, again, big triceps, big pecs. Guess how you get those? Bench press and dips. It's not that hard, guys. Normal, plain old, conventional exercises. Make you look big in a shirt. All right, because you need something to actually stretch the shirt out, not just, oh, I need my neck and traps to look big poking out of the top. But everything else is tiny. All right, get your back as wide as you can. Get your chest as thick as you can. do a ton of pressing, your triceps will grow. That'll look bigger in a shirt. I mean, triceps and brachialis are really kind of your t-shirt muscles. Now my brachialis needs some work. Now, people will say, well, what about all the forearms? Well, all right, how do you build big forearms? Don't use straps. Throw your damn straps away, strap on. If you do that, you're not going to need to do extra forearm work. It's because people are doing silly stuff like training with straps all the time, they don't have forearms, right? Just do more big, heavy barbell movements. Your conventional movements will build your forearms. Not that difficult. Barbell rows, weighted pull-ups, deadlifts, right? That'll build your forearms. And it's just absolutely ridiculous, you know, that he wants to tell everyone they need to do the neck training. He doesn't. Where's his big neck? His neck's not any bigger than Omar's, right? We saw them side by side. His neck and his traps are not any bigger than Omar's. He did everything through conventional training. Everything through conventional training. And, you know, I think this is absurd. And you guys know I'm going back into my orc mode thing. I'm actually going to be putting out the orc mode training and orc mode diet coming up here soon. Some further info on it. You know what? Don't worry about this silly ass bear mode, cub mode, dwarf mode, whatever you want to call it. You need to be an orc. All right, let's go orc mode. And we can stomp on these little squidgets. Just crush them under your iron orc heel while we feast on swine flesh. And we do heavy benching and heavy squats and heavy overhead pressing. Right? Because my orc mode training is going to be real concurrent periodization done correctly for raw lifters. Only going to be using accommodating resistance for dynamic work, right? Because that's how it's supposed to be done. I mean, if you're going to train, if you're going to be a raw lifter, like you're not going to go compete in equipped powerlifting, your band work is for speed work. It's not for max effort exercises. Not for any of that shit. Not for any of that. You know, and just the whole silliness of what he promotes there. The silliness of what he promotes. The one thing I will give credit, though, that he did say in the video, he did say, well, a lot of guys, they feel lethargic when they're bulking or they're gaining size or they're doing their, what do you call it, bear mode. The rest of us just call it bulking, right? Just what it is. Well, they eat too much junk food and they don't do their conditioning work. I'll agree with that. I will tell you guys right now, when you are bulking, that's the time when you need to be doing more conditioning work, right? Why? Better for your health, better for your energy turnover, right? Lets you eat more food so you can get a stronger anabolic response from your food. And it'll give you more energy, but it will offset a lot of the negative health effects of gaining weight. Absolutely. And you can adapt to it better, just like with everything else. You know how you can train harder and adapt better to training when you're overeating? That includes your conditioning work also, by the way. Giving your body the nutrients it needs to recover. So it's a win-win. That's the best time to build your conditioning up. It's the best time is when you're bulking. So that's the one thing he said I will agree with in there. And I mean, I will agree you will generally look bigger in your clothes when you're at least 15% body fat. But the whole point here of what I really dislike is he's got this whole idea of telling guys to skip their legs, not do conventional exercises, and to do all this silly other shit to try to make them look big in their clothes. And it's like, guys, why don't you just get big? Why don't you just get big if you want to look big in your clothes? Right? Get your chest and back and shoulders big. You'll look big in a t-shirt. Right? Because that's what's going to stretch and fill your shirt out, man. That's what's going to fill out that large size shirt so you can get out of the medium. That's how you do it. Just get big. I mean, needing little silly tricks, like if you train your neck more and just do more trap work, you'll look big only when they do a close-up above the chest, above the nipple line, right? But if you want, actually, when people can see your full torso, if you want to look bigger, your chest, your triceps, your back, because the triceps are what's going to fill out a shirt sleeve, but mainly as far as filling the shirt out, your pecs and your lats. Traps will grow. You don't ever need to specialize in traps, and I'm not saying guys shouldn't have bigger traps, but when you're disproportionate, look how he looks so narrow from the front. Like he just disappears. It's just all trap because he doesn't do enough shoulder work. You don't want to be disproportionate. And even Bugenhagen said that. Remember, even Eric Bugenhagen specifically said that, and that was Strap-On's hero. He specifically told you that. You don't want disproportionately large traps to your delts. It'll make you look narrow. And looking narrow doesn't make you look big in a t-shirt. Being thick and looking thick and having traps that aren't disproportionately large will make you look bigger in a t-shirt. Those big ass traps just make you look narrow, unless you really and truly have a wide back and wide shoulders, in which case you can pull it off. But then your traps will look smaller even when they are bigger, but that's just proportion. It's just proportion, guys. It really is. And even the Boogs told you that. And yet here this silly ass dwarf is still telling people they need to be focusing all their effort into their neck and trap training. But when you look at him in a t-shirt, all you see is a little bit of trap. It's like he doesn't even look big. His method's not even working. It doesn't work. And all these silly ass kids who follow him, look at all of them. How many of these kids who are running naturally enhanced and all this other shit, when you actually go see their videos, are any of them even big? No, because that program's not going to make you big without drugs. See, that's the problem with naturally enhanced. You have to be enhanced to actually get big on it because it's really terrible programming. That's just reality. And Alex built his base following my programs. If you guys recall, he was my biggest nut hugger 4 or 5 years ago. He built his entire base using my conventional training methods. Let's not forget that. All right, guys, but that's really all I have to say on that today. I hope it's been informative, and I will talk to you guys next time.